into invocation as well.
Lord, as we come to you now here this evening, Lord, we are gathered here as representatives of the people and the people themselves. Lord, this is a meeting in which it is our prayer that you will oversee and superintend. And Lord, with all that is done here, we praise you, honor, and glorify you for the benefit of our citizens. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Okay, at this time, we're going to go ahead and enter into business 4A. I do want to let the public know, if you do want to have public comment, there are sheets in the back. We're going to have open public comment on section B. So please fill out your sheets and turn them into the clerk so they can have your name ready. This time, we're going to talk about the discussion regarding the resignation of the Planning and Development Services Director. He has just asked us...
We don't have a button here to press, so just want to remind you that we're up here in case we want to talk.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. All I'm going to do is just read Mr. Ruiz's resignation letter. That's all this section of the agenda is, just to read.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. If we don't have a city manager right now, I don't know if we should be discussing we're not supposed to discuss city employees.
I'm just reading his resignation.
Okay,
That's all I'm doing.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I also want to make it known that I have no input on these comments because this employee doesn't report to the commission.
I understand. We're just reading his resignation letter is all we're doing.
I understand, but he's not an employee of the commission. I just want to put it out there.
Okay. It says, Dear Ms. Cameron, I am thankful for having had the opportunity to serve the great residents and community within the city of Deltona. This opportunity to return to Deltona has shown me what a great city this is to live in and how much people care for the growth and planning of our city. It has been a pleasure to work alongside an amazing group of professionals throughout all the departments who are extremely knowledgeable and genuinely care for Deltona. I have decided to step down as Planning and Development Services Director of the city. This decision was difficult to make and accept, as I get to work with some of the most skilled, talented, and caring planning staff I have ever met and have had the great honor and pleasure of leading. These people mean a ton to me, and I will forever be grateful to them for making me a better leader and making my job easier. I will always cherish the work relationships we have built. After a long thought, I realized that my vision and goals for the City of Deltona's planning program do not align with that of our city managers at this time. Therefore, I would rather leave room for someone who can better align with his vision and future plans. Please accept this letter as my official resignation of the Planning Development Service Director position with the City of Deltona. My last day fulfilling the duties of this position will be Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. In the meantime, I am willing to aid and assist in any transition necessary for the benefit of the department and the city. Sincerely, Joseph Ruiz. So I have read that into the record, so residents know. And at this time, we're going to go ahead and move to Section B. So before we start Section B, which is the discussion regarding the city manager search and the appointment of the interim, I am asking, we had a workshop already scheduled for this Monday that the city manager had scheduled before he departed. So I'm asking us to remove the first section of that city manager search so we as a whole commission can make the determinations for the search with every one of the commissioners here present, including Commissioner Vila Vasquez and Vice Mayor Bradford. I believe that Commissioner Burbank will still be on vacation. Is that correct? He'll be back. So that way we can all be here to do that. Do I have consensus?
Well, my question is, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Vice Mayor Bradford. Without a city manager or an acting city manager, none of us have authority to change any meetings because that would mean we're at this point directing staff. So at this point, we would need to keep the meeting on for Monday because none of us have any authority whatsoever to direct Joyce to
That's
change
what we're
that,
saying.
correct?
That is what we're saying, Vice Mayor, that we are keeping the meeting for Monday that way we're all here together so we can decide on the city manager search. We're not changing it.
That is correct. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
You know, I know there's going to be a lot of topic on this conversation with the manager search, but as for right now, I got to see if we can get a consensus and make a motion to have Glenn Wickham step in as city manager, as interim city manager. We can get this search going, and then we can discuss the parameters for everything else. But I want to make a motion to put Mr. Glenn Wickham as acting city manager for now, so that way we have somebody in that chair, and we can just now direct him.
Sure. Let's get to the motion in just, so we got a motion and a second by the vice mayor. Let's get public input, and then we can
That
move
was
forward.
Maritza Villavasquez.
Can you repeat that, please?
That was Commissioner Maritza Villavasquez.
Oh, I apologize. The second was for the record, to clarify, the second was from Commissioner Avila Vasquez, please. All right. Do we have any public comment for that section, please?
Yes, sir. Richard Bellick.
Thank you, people, for the big round of applause last week. Thank you very much.
Mr. Bellick, your mic is off.
Okay, city manager,
Your mic is off. Your mic is off.
mic don't work. Mic don't work, like everything else in this city.
Could we get, please, somebody to fix the microphone?
All right. What's the matter with David Sosa? What's the matter with David Sosa for interim city manager? One of the best commissioners we ever had, an honest man. What's the matter with him? His name don't come up? He walked you around. You're the reason he's the reason you're up in that chair. He walked around with you house to house, door to door, and now you turn your back on him. What's the problem? You know he's qualified. He's overqualified. You want to come with other people with no qualification. How many times you going to, we told you this a year ago you'd be doing this again in another year, but you didn't last that long. It was only 10 months. I mean, this is ridiculous. Everybody comes in here as a city manager, walks away with the money. They take the residents' money time after time, week after week. It's crazy. This city's $32 million in debt. They can't even pick a good city manager. Come on. Sosa is the guy. You know it. And I want to give you another thing here while I'm here. Okay. John Peters, a very good city manager, ran afoul over a contract, okay? Everything that's slated in this city, all these projects were put together by John Peters. He didn't get a chance to fulfill it. I want to tell these people, John Peters on the weekend drove around on his own spare time, and he took notes, and he looked at this city, and he was trying to make this city a good place, and because of some commissioners with no honor or dignity. All right, I'm going to shut up now because I don't want this mayor to be able to divert his attention to me.
Good evening, Adam Vasquez, 707 Cloverleaf Boulevard, Deltona. I'm going to come up here tonight and I'm going to say something pretty radical to, I think, those who are intertwined with our city, who don't want to see this come to fruition for some reason, but I think it should be popular with the people, and that is moving to a strong mayor form of government. Since our city has been in inception in 27 years, we've had 18 city managers. So 18 times we have ripped the person out at the top, right, hire somebody else, and that person is who directs the staff, right? And then the 5 of you, whoever's doing it, you direct the city manager, right? And the priorities change, and we can't get what does that mean? We can't get Lakeshore Drive fixed. We can't get our stormwater issue solved. I mean, it just rained the other day. It's flooded all over the place. We can't get our roads repaved. I mean, we start off on good progress, and now we pull the person from the top. So something's got to give, and I would like to see us move to a strong mayor form of government. I know it's not popular with any of you. You know, everyone knows that I'm friends with the mayor. I can't even get him on board with the idea, and he would be the strong mayor. And so I think it's wildly counterproductive that we change our city manager as often as we do, okay? The next one that we're about to hire, he'll be here less than 2 years. Thank you.
Brandy White. Brandy White, please.
Brandy White, Deltona. Our community now more than ever is in critical need of uniting and working together with our government. In your considerations tonight for who should step in as interim city manager, I'd like you to keep that in mind. Now's not the time to create more chaos, but rather reassure our community that moving forward, we'll see a brighter, better Deltona emerging. And the start to accomplishing that goal, I believe, begins with your extremely important decision here tonight. In order to accomplish the task of bridging the gap between our government and our community, I feel this person should not be an existing or previous employee for 2 reasons. You'll create an already temporary vacancy at a higher position, and then you have to deal with the issue of returning them to their position. It's just messy all around and complicated. Same thing with any current or previous employees. There could be a conflict when it comes to budgeting and setting aside things for certain departments, and you're just going to face more public distrust instead of unity. The applicant should be someone who is communicative with the community and has the ability to bring back trust, transparency, and integrity to our city, ultimately bridging the gap and reuniting residents with their government. Creating these 3 qualities within our city government would rectify and resolve a large portion of the problems you faced the last few years. The applicant you choose should be good at delegation, listening, problem solving, as well as working with multiple departments, ensuring each flow independently as well as within the city as a whole. They need to have the ability to reach out and discuss items outside of their knowledge with those who specialize in it, but yet have the skill set to still research and confirm the information given. This is temporary, and there should be no need for them to have full qualifications as the actual city manager that you're seeking. And lastly, they have to be able to complete tasks in reasonable timelines as directed by the commission. I'm going to skip ahead because I'm running out of time, but you've received my offer, and if you don't accept it, that's fine, but could you use it for whoever you do pick? Thank you.
Terry Ellis, please.
The only thing that I have to say about the city manager situation is this, is that because we're in a crisis, that's what you need to address. Moving Glenn from a position where he's trying to take care of the stormwater issues and things that we could possibly even be facing with a hurricane is going to be leaving a gap. And what is really needed is someone who's able to manage through this crisis, especially since this is going to be an interim person. I don't believe that this is going to be an acting city manager. So to me, that is where the priority should be. The person who's going to have the best skills at coming in, looking at the whole team, the staff, determining where the crises are, prioritizing and putting together plans quickly, thoroughly, and communicating those plans to the public and to you so that whatever we're facing over the next few weeks, because we're in such a crisis, at least we're going to be assured that we have some solid plans in place so we don't slip backwards. Thank you.
Tara D'Erico.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Tara D'Erico, District 3. We're the largest city in Volusia County and deserve a city manager who is going to take pride in that. We need someone in it for the long haul, someone who's not looking for a lead-in to the next big thing or who's looking to supplement their retirement income. This constant turnover in the city manager is why we can't get anything done. And I've heard all of you at one meeting or another talk about that, how projects keep getting put on hold because of the constant turnover. What I would ask is you start the search immediately for a permanent city manager, and I would ask for the love of our taxpayer money to please be good stewards of our taxpayer money and not hire another consulting firm to do that. We have pools of candidates that have already applied from the most recent search, some of them really good qualified candidates, so I'd like to see us look back to those. Some things to consider is we're mid-storm season. There are actually 2 storms hanging out in the Atlantic now with a 60% chance for development. We need someone that is experienced and has a good working knowledge of our city for the interim role. Sorry, I'm editing as I'm talking because I only have 2 minutes instead of 4. Now's not the time for on-the-job learning. We need someone who has experience with our infrastructure and stormwater issues, and we need somebody that can step in and start directing staff now. At the end of the day, the residents are entrusting you all, our elected officials, the folks that we voted in to represent our voice, to make the decision that is best for the residents swiftly, so we lose as little momentum as possible. Now more than ever, we need you all to come together, and we need you all to lead our city and put the residents first. Thank you.
Billy Fowler? Billy Fowler, please.
Come on, Billy. Be putting lines. I'm gonna tell you what. We have some of the weirdest things going on in Deltona. I moved there in 2017 and been fighting with them ever since then and haven't got anything done yet. When Peters was here, he said, if I want it done, do it myself. So I'll do it myself. And then when the new city manager come in, I talked to him, he wouldn't come out of my house, said he did, but he didn't. He sent me a letter stating that I done unauthorized work without permitting. Well, Peters told me that if I want it done it myself. Said nothing about the permits. But 2 new houses was built to cause this confusion. I couldn't get to see a meeting with him or with you, Mayor. You come out and looked. And you agreed that the border did go that way. And then we had 2 from Public Works that should resign too. Because they come out there and say, well, you know, that ain't the idea. They didn't follow the aerial maps to how the water flowed by even looking at the other side of the street. But one of them has got a grudge against me that one of the Public Works said that I threatened them. Well, I'd sure like for them to prove that. But I done the work, but I stopped because I didn't want to put all the water back on people behind me. And they said they wasn't going to do nothing. But I got my stuff right here just in case we needed it. But it's time that we get somebody in here, and my commissioner come out of my house. He said, oh, I'm going to get something done. Yeah, he got it done at his house, but not at my house where it should have got done. He should resign.
Thank you, sir. Doug McDonald. Doug McDonald, please.
Doug McDonald, Surrey Run Court here in Deltona. It's pretty hard to follow this man, I'll tell you. Next speaker up. Okay, I just want to comment on your situation here with the city manager, and you're losing 3 people all at one time. Am I correct? City manager, deputy, and somebody else. Anyhow, that's not good for the city. I don't have to tell you that. Tracing the last 3 managers, Ms. Shang, Mr. Peters, and Chisholm, all of them are over age 60 on up. I don't know if the age discrimination laws are in effect or not. That's why we have a city attorney over here to check that out. But perhaps it would be better if you could choose a younger person, somebody just spoke to that, with a longer time frame and maybe a lower salary. Let's start with that. Also, there are, I think, 5 lawsuits pending against the city right now based on human resources alleged violations. Somebody's not doing a good job. Maybe all this occurred before you all got up there. I don't know. But the solutions come with you. The payouts, the settlements, whatever it is, will rely on your benefit. So please consider, on one more point, consider a citizens input committee when you go to hire the next person. Maybe that'll help a little bit. You know? Thank you.
Lisa Cheney? Cheney?
Lisa Chavez, 1971 Algonquin Avenue, Deltona, Florida. And I've been a Deltonian since 1994. I graduated from Deltona High. I've been here for a very long time. And a year after we moved here was when it became a city. And my mother does no longer live here for other reasons. But I love Deltona. and I've raised my children here. I love the fact that we have so many parks. I love the fact that we have a trail that's almost 26 miles. It's a marathon. We need reform, and we need reform fast. And how about someone, and let's be radical then. So how about, asking residents that may have these skills to come in and to do an application. Dana said that there was somebody that you guys really liked a lot and thought that you could hire them. So why is it taking so long? And why is it taking so long to do a workshop? There should be an emergency workshop, and that maybe we can do a little bit of input into that workshop, and then you guys go out there and look for that person.
Nick Lully.
Good evening. Thank you, as always, for the opportunity to speak tonight. Always a privilege, and I think it's a very sad day in our city. This is, I don't know how many times now in the last few years that I think we've been in this position, but it is never a good day for this to happen. And I don't know, it seems like it's time for some pretty radical action and alternative solutions, because it doesn't seem like that the commission is able to get a city manager on board who is able to stay the course, whether that's from outside actions or inside actions that are causing that. And I'm just a little concerned, because it was earlier this year that 5 members of this commission voted to give our now former city manager a pay increase and a new contract. And now here we are again in the same spot. And I'm a little disturbed that now the city manager has put himself on administrative leave, and for the next 30 days, we have to pay that higher salary. That's right. I mean, that's just a little disturbing to me, because at the same time, those same commissioners who voted for that voted for a tax increase. So now my taxes are going up if we keep voting yes on that new millage rate. And again, those tax dollars are going to pay this salary for the next 30 days. So again, I think it's time for radical action. I don't know if there's an outside body who can step in and do that, some sort of emergency manager for the time being, because I think these folks here off to the left, off to the right, in the back, this must be untenable for them to work through this constant inconsistency in who they're reporting to. So I'm just a little disturbed this evening, and best of luck on the next steps, because we need all the help we can get.
Kathy Bryan. Kathy Bryan, please.
Good evening, Kathy Bryan, Deltona. For any Lord of the Rings fans up there, let's be like the Ents and not be hasty. I think we were hasty the last time we did this. I'm going to address, I wasn't going to talk about one of the reasons I came up here was to address the idea of a strong mayor. Out of the 4 mayors we've had over the course of this place being a city, not one of them was qualified to be a city manager. I think it's a bad idea. I think we need somebody that's outside. This isn't a town where we have a bunch of professionals living here that are invested in this city that would function in that role as a mayor and city manager. So let's keep that separate. Let's take our time. Let's get somebody in here that everybody's comfortable with. That's from you all to staff to us. Okay? That's all I got to say.
David Sosa, please.
David Sosa. That is correct. You guys got dealt a raw hand by 4 commissioners previous to you. 2 of them still preside on the dais. Okay? You got handed Chisholm, which was a disaster. The only thing that made it worse was voting to give him a 2-year contract, which ended up coming back to 1. That was a disaster. He had a contract for 6 months with the option to renew at a less salary, but we just couldn't do that. And the whole thing was for you guys to have time to search for a quality city manager, and you squandered that by putting him as a city manager. Because once you did that, that stopped the search. Okay, we screwed the pooch on that one. Okay, now, the problem we have right now is we have no city manager, deputy city manager, we have nothing. Okay, I like Glenn very much. However, I think he needs to stay in Public Works Director because we have what coming? We have 2 hurricanes out in the Atlantic right now. The water levels, there's still water from the last 2 hurricanes in people's yards. Yes. That's never been fixed. It's still there. There are woods behind me that had never had water in them that are still full. Yep. And we're talking about 100 acres plus. Yep. And it's still full. So we need to fix that problem. My personal opinion, declare a state of emergency. We did it for almost a year after the hurricanes. Put Deputy Chief Snyder, not as interim city manager, but put him in charge for now till you guys have the time and take the time to get a quality interim city manager till you do the search for a true city manager. Thank you.
Ted Noctal?
Good evening, Commission. My name indeed is Ted Noftel. The 2 worst acronyms in the English language are not CIA, DEA, EPA, but ICMA and FCCMA, the International County City Managers Association and the Florida City County Managers Association. You have made lousy employment picks in the past because you've put your trust in the ICMA and the range riders that are probably knocking on your door already, assuring you that they can fix you up with the best manager going. Better than sliced bread and brown toast is what they say. But let me tell you, they do not have the interest of Deltona at heart. That's not their priority. Their priority is full employment for every unemployed retread that they have in their organization. And it doesn't take a scientist to figure out that you guys are well in bed with these people. Look at your own memo for what you're looking for in a manager. Certifications and memberships, ICMA, FCCMA. Go down and look at the efforts you've had already, the comments you've got already. Look at the management companies that you're employing or taking bids from. I recognize a couple of the names. They're heavily involved with ICMA and FCCMA, and you want to be clear of all of it. I am an unapologetic proponent of the private sector, and I would encourage you all to stop right now in your tracks and turn this ship around with a commitment to hire the next manager from the private sector, not from the government sector.
Gary Roth, please.
Thank you.
Gary Roth. Folks, y'all have got a heck of a dilemma in front of y'all. And I can tell you right now, your prior experience in this apparently has come up short. And I'd tell you right now, if you want to help solve that, you need to put David Sosa in as the interim mayor. He's got an incredible background and experience in being able to help run business, as well as a commissioner here. He's got experience in every one of these different areas that you've shown on here: finance, budgeting, economic development, growth management, redevelopment, community redevelopment agencies, tax incremental financing, and disaster preparedness, FEMA, intergovernmental, as well as legislative. These are areas that he's got experience in and pretty doggone good at it. Apparently, he was smart enough to try and go over to the county. Apparently, he wasn't able to get in there, but that certainly doesn't mean that he doesn't have the qualifications to do that. I'd certainly recommend that y'all take a good look at him and try and get him in an office that he can do some good at, because right now, up there, what we're looking at, a little bit lacking. Thank you so much.
Larry French. Larry French, please.
Larry French, 2520 Deltona. I'm in District 5, and I've been here for over 40 years. We're not Mayberry. We're not River City. Thank God. We keep hearing we have trouble, but they're not problems that can't be solved. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, and I've seen the ugly here in our city over its past. But over the interim time, I've even bucked heads with a number of your forebearers on the dais. But I say right now, this is probably the best time we have right now, where we have a civic alignment of people who are actually listening to the public. So I think we have some good opportunities here to do some things. So kudos to you for listening to folks. There are two ways we can go about all of this. We can react or we can respond. Since we've seen from the past experience what results with lots of reactions that we've had, perhaps the route, the best take would be one to respond, because we might get more promising results. Take time, be more careful. Let's try to look at what's happening as an opportunity and look for some positive change to make some changes in our civic government here. The outpouring of residents we've had at our last meeting and also here tonight is very much evident to you that our citizens are much more concerned than previous administrations thought of us here in Deltona. We very much care. I would urge us to use this synergy that we've got here to create a more interactive municipal civic involvement here, and let's get more information, let's get more involved. Make sure that you're aware of what's going on and go about this process carefully. Let's bring this phoenix up from the ashes and show everybody that Deltona can be a great place to live and work.
Yep. Gloria Ford. Gloria Ford, please.
Okay. Now, one thing you got to remember. I'm Gloria Ford, District 1. One thing you have to remember is this is to identify a temporary manager. One of the pitfalls of decision-making is a rush to judgment. It doesn't work. You have to look at all the different angles. So that's good that you're taking input from us. And I hope you've heard everything, because it's all really good stuff. I realize most of you were dealt a bad hand. My husband and I sat here for that interview of all those 14 candidates, and we listened to everything, and it was blatantly obvious at the end of it that they already knew who they wanted. They hired Chisholm, and you see how that went. Not your fault, not most of yours fault, but it was wrong. There was one guy. He was up there, and he was actually wanting the job for only the 6-month period to help us get back on the ground and to help us hire a new city manager. And he was strictly 6 months. I don't know if you remember, but he was the guy that looked like Lauren King, former District 1. And then there was another guy, pretty good, and he was on everybody's list. Everybody's, but they didn't take him. You have to remember, I don't know if we can go back and ask those people or have them resubmit an application. Might be an option. I do like to take somebody from the community, make it private sector, and, oh God, my time's going to run out. But I do think David Sosa would be great as temporary, just to get things going. He knows everybody, and he can manage.
Thank you, ma'am. Gracie's voice, please.
Can you repeat the name again?
Gracie's voice.
Good evening. From now on, when I speak it to you guys, it will be under Gracie's voice. That's not why I'm here tonight, though, although she will be with me every meeting. The city manager thing, I have been gone for over a year. And this city manager thing I've watched, and it has, you are the laughing stock across the country. And I don't say that lightly. Santiago, you know me. I don't say that lightly. But when people in Ohio and New York and everywhere else,
If we can just keep our voices a little bit down, we're trying to hear the resident. Go ahead.
when other states, you say, oh, I'm from Deltona, Florida, and they laugh, we have a problem here. And it starts with these two seats. They need to go. And I really believe that you need to look at, I'm certainly not qualified, so I would never even ask. On top of that, I'm going on hospice care again. Woohoo! But Brandy or David or Troy, people who have been involved and know this city inside and out, even the dark, nasty secrets that people like to hide, they know about them. So let's get somebody in here who cares about our community, cares about the Constitution and our rights as a community, and will support you guys. You know, you've had disrespect constantly, from Jane Shang all the way to Marcia, and now this guy. You know, time's up. Do something. Do better.
Elbert Bryan.
Evening. You know, I've been up to this podium an awful lot over 8 years. And I can honestly say over the last 4 years, I've been up this podium for this reason. I've asked at least 4 times to do a search for a manager, a real search for a manager. And yet here we are again. Interesting. The gentleman that used to sit in that seat right over there, I asked, do a search when y'all hired him. And yet, here we are. You know, they all talk about the failure of the past commission. Well, the failure is on this commission. Y'all didn't give direction to hire a search team to do the search. That's on you. That's not on the past commission. Now, granted, it's on the past commission that we hired him in the first place, but y'all chose to renew rather than to get somebody different. Right. Here's your chance to prove that you actually give a shit about these people out here. You can either do it now or in a year or in 3 years. We'll change all this out again, and we'll start all this process again. It's up to y'all. Focus on what the job is. It's not that hard, folks. You represent us. We don't represent you. Not that hard, folks. Really isn't. Find somebody that can sit in that seat who wants to do the job for these people out here. It's not that hard. It really isn't.
Thank you, sir. James Haro? James Haro?
Good evening. I'm here to represent the silent majority, the other 98,000 residents that are busy working and caring for families. You've heard a lot of angry citizens tonight. You've also heard from others with self-serving ideas. I'd ask that you take the next few moments and think about what's best for the city today. Thank you.
Mayor, that closes public comments.
I'd like to take a moment to ask Mr. Carmen Rosamundo from the city of DeBerry to come up. Just so the residents know, I actually received 2 calls during the situation that we're in today. One was from, or 3 calls. One was from Carmen from the city of DeBerry, who's the city manager. I got a call from Mayor Chazé from the city of DeBerry. I also got a call from Volusia County Representative David Santiago from our district. And both have offered to, both on the county side and on the city side, to help in any way. So I want to give Carmen some time, and then we'll get to the commissioners. This is, and I'll just put this little input so then Carmen can speak. This goes to show the importance of building relationships with our county and our sister cities. It shows that unity, there is strength. So, who is that? I'm sorry. Mr. Rosamundo, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. I appreciate the opportunity to come speak to you. I have spoken to, as you know, we're members of Volusia League of Cities, West Volusia Summit, and we consider the City of Deltona and the City of DeBerry partners in all of our endeavors. I've spoken to DeBerry City Council, particularly Mayor Chazé today, trying to offer whatever assistance that we could have to help you through this predicament. As you know, you got a budget that's due in the next 30 days, and whoever you choose to be your acting city manager or interim city manager, this is what I discussed with Mayor Chazé. It was to the possibility of me reaching out to some of my colleagues around the county, including Volusia County, to see what kind of team that we can put together to support the city of Deltona and try to get you through the budget process of the next 30 days and maybe get help you launch a search for a city manager, but to be your advisory board or whatever you want to call it for the next 30 days to kind of help you through this process and to and see what we can do to be assistance to the city of Deltona.
Thank you. We have Commissioner McCool on the board, and then Jody Lee. Does the Vice Mayor or Commissioner Vila Vasquez want to say anything to Mr. Rosamundo? No? Go ahead, Ms.
Just thank you very much for your offer. We do appreciate it.
Okay.
Just want to say thank you to the city manager of DeBerry for coming out and offering their assistance. Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Commissioner McCool.
And this is, I'm going to keep my other comments until the resident comments are done, okay?
Sure.
These comments have directly to do with, Carmen, thank you for coming out. I know that we've had a long conversation today because the desire is to rebuild, as it were. And I know that the city of Deltona, we look at where DeBerry was a few years ago, and DeBerry was in conflict, and some bad conflict, and I know that you and Karen have stepped up, and DeBerry is an amazing city from a growth standpoint, from community relations, from a lot of these important standpoints. So thank you for answering the call, because I know that I spoke to you and Mayor Chazet today also regarding that, because this is not a time for ego from anyone. These are public servants reaching out to help do what the right thing is for our residents. And from my standpoint, I greatly admire how DeBerry has built their relationship with their residents and what they have done. And I really want what's the best for my residents. So thank you, and we will accept the help, because that's really what it is right now. It is a rebuilding process. And no matter what the ins and outs were, and I'll speak to this after our residents finish speaking, what it comes down to is developing non-polarizing relationships on the part of residents and their commissioners and their city manager, and we have not been very homogenized in doing that. And so thank you for stepping up. My thanks to Mayor Chazet, my thanks to the DeBerry City Commission, our council, understanding the gravity and the seriousness of what we're doing. And I think that we will, I at one commissioner will take the help. We really appreciate that. I admire what you've done. So after our residents, I'll finish with my comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Jody Lee, would you like to address the city manager of DeBerry?
I want to thank him for being out here. We appreciate your offering your helping hand, and I'm sure many of us will probably reach out, and probably a lot of residents too. I mean, I appreciate you being here and being a sister city next door. We appreciate you spending your time and coming out here and talk with us all. And I got more comments for the rest of it.
Thank you. Thank you, Carmen, for your time.
Just if you give us the notification, I'll start making calls tomorrow. I'll try to put a team of maybe 3 to 5 of my colleagues or their designee together, and certainly we'll work with your designee, who you are going to do as your interim, and we'll do the best we can to get you at least to the budget line, which is due 30 days from now. You've got to get your budget together, get your millage rate established, and we'll do whatever we can to support your organization.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
If County Councilman David Santiago can come up as well, please. So County Councilman David did call in just to reassure that we do have 2 hurricanes or possibilities of storms on the coast, that the county is ready and willing to help their biggest city. So David, thank you for the call and for the support to our city.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of the council. Listen, I live here, right? And I'm not only your District 5 representative, but I live here. So your success is important to me and my family, my grandkids. So I'm sure that my colleagues at the county council, with my ask, is willing to extend the resources. We have a lot of resources in the county, and so whatever we can do, all of you have my personal cell phone number. We all talk, so don't ever hesitate to call, and some of you have called, and we get pretty quick results. So I'm here to help. It's our city, and I'm in it with you together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Lastly, I'd like to call Chief Snyder up. For the last thing is, he just wants to give reassurance to our city that the fire department here in Deltona is ready, and we're ready to go in case, God forbid, we have an emergency. Chief Snyder?
Yes, I would just like to reiterate that we will follow the current comprehensive emergency management plan that is in effect. At this point, we are updating it at this point, but the old one is still in effect, the one that we've used several times over the last 5 years. The city is ready. We're ready to open up an emergency operations center just like we have in the past. We work well with the county, just like Commissioner Santiago said. The county is the lead when it comes to emergency management, and we follow their lead, and we will do that just like we have in the past. So we are ready. We continuously monitor the storms to see what's going on, and if it appears that one is coming this way, we will go through the procedures just like we normally do. If it looks like it's imminent, and we'll follow the county's lead as far as declaring a state of emergency. We'll come to the commission for that state of emergency, and then we will open up our emergency operations center, and we will operate as we have in the past.
Thank you, Chief. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. So we have a couple of, I guess, comments from Commissioner McCool, then Commissioner Jody Lee. I have one or two things to say, and then we'll get to the vote because we have a motion and a second on the floor. So, yes, we are. Go ahead, Commissioner Avila-Vasquez.
Yes, I have a question for Chief Schneider, if I may.
Sure. Chief Snyder. Go ahead, Commissioner Avila-Vasquez.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Chief, I know that there's a lot of, I've heard quite a few times mentioning about 2 hurricanes that are out there. I know that when I last checked the news, there were no threats to Florida. So can you confirm that for us? Because I don't want our residents to start worrying and be scared that we're going to be getting hit by 2 hurricanes. So can you confirm for us, are they en route to Florida, or are they not like the, weather channel?
Folks, we're trying to hear the commissioner. I'm sorry. We can't hear really well.
Yes, ma'am. There are 2 disturbances that are coming off, I believe, the coast of Africa. They are out in there. One has a 60% chance of developing. I believe the other one has about a 40% chance at the last time I looked, which was this morning. There's not a path that has been established yet as far as that I know of. So we will be monitoring those storms and to see where their path is and to see if they actually develop into actual storms that would threaten the United States and more specifically the city of Deltona.
Okay, thank you. I know this has nothing to do with the meeting today, but, I keep hearing 2 hurricanes. I just don't want our residents to be scared, thinking that we're going to be getting hit by hurricanes. So thank you very much for clarifying that, Chief Schneider.
Thank you, Chief. We'll go with Commissioner McCool, then Commissioner Jody Lee, and then I'll seek some comments, and then we'll go with a vote.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I tried to, before the meeting, to thank you all for being here. That's number one. Thank you for your participation, and thank you for coming out tonight, because it's really important. Second of all, that I want to say that I'm sorry, because, we all have to shoulder a part of the dysfunction that I smile and say that is Deltona. There are lots and lots of different priorities, personalities, and importance to our residents. We serve a lot of people, almost 100,000 people. And sometimes making decisions, it comes down to hearing when we hear the majority or a value or belief system. And, for mine is that I want what's best for my residents, because that's what I was voted in to do. And I really try hard to do that in all decision making. As far as the facts are that Deltona chews people up, period, in government. We chew up employees. We've chewed up good leaders, good staff, department heads. We've chewed up commissioners. We've chewed up residents. We've chewed up city managers. We've chewed up mayors. And we've done that a lot as a community. And this is like the intervention where you see a loved one and all that's left is the intervention. The drugs have been done, the alcohol's been done, they've blown up what there is, and that's where we're at today. And today is a serious conversation between our commission and our residents about how do we move forward and how do we rebuild. And we have some great, generous offers of help. And my intention is, first of all, I want somebody in this seat that is non-polarizing. And we have residents that are polarizing, we have commissioners that are polarizing, and we've had city people, city staff that are polarizing. So we can't have that because we don't need polarizing. The second thing that we need is we need somebody that is communal instead of political. A lot of these positions happen and it's so political. I see it every day. I see it every day. Political, social media posts, things are done for political reasons. And we have residents here that's really like fourth and fifth down the line of importance for them. What is important right now is that we have a commission that understands what trouble that we're in, that we address it honestly, that we involve residents with the process of rebuilding, and that we take the help that has been offered to us because we need help as a community. We need help interpreting to one another, and that means how commissioners talk to residents, and that means how residents talk to commissioners. Because I know for a long time that you have felt unheard, and it's made you really angry, and it's frustrating, and that it seems hopeless, and that you're tired. You really just want to go to work and go home, and you have better things to do than sit here and babysit your government. So my pledge to my constituency, and that's each and every one of you sitting in here, is that as we go through this process, that I will be open with you, that I will not hide the dysfunction, because that's been done a lot of times in the name of trying to look good, and we just don't look good. We don't look good under the covers, and we don't look good outside the covers right now. And we must rebuild, and to do that, we must depend upon the residents' input. And the residents must trust. Listen, I say this, and I know that it's hard, that we now sitting in front of our public are really going to try to do the right thing, and the right thing with that is transparency. My fear, and I say this as Commissioner McCool and no one else, my fear of putting anyone from within the city into the position to serve is that we're not kind to those people. That somewhere between dissatisfaction and ego and agendas, that we always hurt people that we try to put in those positions. And my fear is I don't want anyone else to leave the city. I have nothing to do with employment because I'm a commissioner, but I will tell you this, in all honesty, I beg Joe Ruiz to stay here with the city because he is what makes Deltona great in the city staff. Joe Ruiz has been an honorable man. He's been an honorable leader. He is full of moral, good decision-making. He has always had the best interest at the city of Deltona to protect us from insidious development, to try to present fair and accurate information to the commission to make decisions on. And it saddens me, the letter that he wrote. And as it will be discussed in days coming, it will be discussed why pointedly that letter was written, but that's not for tonight. What I want to do tonight is to let you know the decision that I make is based on looking at each and every one of you tonight to try to do the very best that we can to rebuild after this. And yes, we had 3 people, maybe 4 leaving, but with that being said, it's the opportunity also to rebuild and for you to know that you are being heard. So Deltona, I hear you, and I am here, and I will try to do the very best along with the rest of the commissioners to help rebuild the trust, the transparency, and the comfort and security that you have living in Deltona. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, and I want feedback. I appreciate that. So thank you very much for being here. Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Commissioner McCool. Commissioner Jody Lee.
Oh, that was nicely put. I'm not as polished, I guess, as you are, so this is probably going to be a little bit more brass. I'm sorry. But I apologize to all y'all for me putting faith in Chisholm. I let you guys down just as well. In this next city manager search, I know I've already reached out to a couple residents. I will not make the decision just on my feelings. I'll go to the residents and we'll discuss it first. Any of these big firms that want to help us, guess what? Appreciate it, but I'm not interested. Because everything we've done up to this point, we get regurgitated managers from other places, and it hasn't done us well at all. Zero, zilch, never. We need to get somebody from a private business that hasn't been involved, doesn't have friends in all these different cities where we get all the bad blood and all the bad actions from some other city that don't want them and they come to us. We need to get somebody new that has leadership skills, not micromanagement skills, leadership skills. Because if you put the right people and we have a lot of the right staff in all the right positions in the city, we need to get somebody that's got leadership skills, not somebody that left another city that has tons and tons of baggage from other cities. We've had that before numerous times. I mean, there's all kinds of rumors. Everybody's read what took place. Well, there was a lot of micromanaging. There was people going to planning saying, get this done and sign off on it, get it back to me so we don't have to bring it back to the commission. I'm sorry. He got called out on it. I mean, people want to know the truth. I guess this is the place. You want transparency? I mean, there's people that were here that were at home and putting in time and overtime for their pay for watching a city meeting at home. I'm sorry. That's blatant theft from us residents. You forget, you guys pay our salaries, but our salaries, I make like $600 a month from doing this job. So it's not a big, huge salary. But we live in the city too. So whatever happens affects us too. We're not just people that leave. I go to Deltona. I mean, we have a lot of good people that work for this city. But I live here too, so I care what they do. And if somebody's doing something wrong as an employee of the city, it affects me too. So we need to get the right people to do different jobs. We need to get the right city manager this time. Every way we've done it before, this whole packet of things we need, I'm sorry, this ain't done nothing for us all these years. I mean, I'm not going to say about past commissions, past everything, but all these big national searches, that's worked out pretty good. I mean, we ended up with Shang. We've had all these other different managers. Maybe it's time to do something just different, go outside the box, and instead of paying somebody to give us a manager. I mean, we need somebody that's going to be here for us long term, like some of the residents said, not somebody that's already got one foot in there and the other one foot on a banana peel. We need to get somebody a little bit younger that's got some energy that's going to go do stuff for the city. I mean, I don't want somebody that's already half dead. Sorry. It is what it is. I mean, we need somebody that's got some energy, somebody that's not going to micromanage. We have good people and some of the good in the positions. Let them do their job. If they're doing their job, you're not going to mess with them. You don't need to micromanage. They're in that position because they've been schooled, they went to school, they're educated, they know their jobs. Leave them alone. Stop trying to come ask us for a brand new truck, because that's not happening either. Sorry, but the other thing is, there's a different little note I have to mention, Mayor. This whole thing with the 30-day consulting for our past manager, we need to squash that, because that way we can get charged more for consulting. We need to make sure we don't do that, please. But like I said,
and we'll talk about all that on Monday.
I will not make a decision for a city manager without residents' input. I tried that once and it didn't work out the best for us. So that's it.
Thank you. I just want to say to our residents before we go to a vote, we might look extremely dysfunctional, and sometimes we are up here, right? We might sometimes fight and bicker amongst each other, and we do. But when we're put in a situation the way we were put in a very unethical way that the city manager left and departed this city, because it was unethical, we come together for you. We put our differences to the side, and we come together for you. You don't see it as much as we probably do, because we come and go from City Hall. You should see the amount of resiliency that comes out of this city staff. Our staff is beyond resilient. You put them up to a task, and they don't only get it done, they super and over exceed it. So even though today it was a day where we had literally nobody that can give direction to staff, staff knew what they had to do. Nobody was scared. City Hall wasn't burning to the floor. Everything was still organized. Everybody still got their job done. Things still got done for our residents. We're still working on projects. Stormwater stuff is still getting done. The chief assured me that everything is working perfectly fine. The emergency stuff is getting completed. Deltona is not in this chaotic thing. And folks, this is not a partisan stuff. I'm hearing this side, that side. We're all in this together. I live here. Every single commissioner that's here, we live in this city. So we want what's best for the city. So we're going to come together. We're going to listen to you guys, right? That's what we want. So we're going to appoint an interim, and we're not going to appoint an interim to search for another interim. We need to appoint an interim so Monday's workshop we can talk about hiring the permanent city manager. You know why? Because if we don't stop hiring interim city managers, nothing's ever going to get done. Nothing is ever going to get done. We all have visions, and you know what? We can give the vision to the next interim city manager all day long, but when he's gone or she's gone, then we have to give that vision again. That's why we never get anywhere in this city. Okay, so let's come together. Let's get this fixed. And let's listen to our residents. And you know what? Yes, we also need to listen to staff, because staff is who's going to be working with that city manager when we end up hiring them. So could we please go for the vote, a verbal vote?
Mayor, may I speak?
Absolutely. Is that Vice Mayor Bradford?
Yes, it is. Yes,
okay,
it is.
go ahead,
I
Vice
don't want to
Mayor.
interrupt you, sorry. All right, so yeah, everybody, we can talk about the hiring of the next city manager at the next meeting, but I will say this: we need to get to the bottom of why we're losing city managers. The last couple city managers have said interference by commissioner and mayors, interference with directing of staff, going to staff, and all the comments are also pointing to corruption inside of the city commission. I am going to request, we've got to nip that, because as long as we continue to have where, I don't even feel comfortable putting Glenn in the position, because he's going to become a sacrificial lamb. Everybody that gets put in that position gets ripped apart one way or the other. We are actually, as city commissioners, under our own, under number 10, it basically states, we're non-interference by city commission, except for the person of inquiring information. The commission and its members, including committees thereof, are especially prohibited from interfering with the performance of the duties of any city employee who is under the direct or indirect supervision of the city manager or city attorney. Such action shall be malfeasant within the meaning of Florida statutes, which is exactly why we probably just lost 2 people, was interference of a city commission. So if we go over to the statute 112 by the state, which it references, by executive order stating the grounds for the suspension and filed with the Secretary of the State, the governor may suspend from office any elected or appointed municipal office for malfeasance, neglect of duty, habitual drunkenness, incompetence, or permanent inability to perform official duties. At this point, I see no reason we shouldn't reach out to the governor's office, let an investigation take effect, because this is the second or third time we've had a city manager say that there's been interference. So we need to get this taken care of and addressed immediately, because the next person we bring in, it needs to be where, as commissioners, we do our job as commissioners, and we let the city manager do his job or her job, whichever one it is. So at this point, I need to remind us all where our place is, and it's not directing staff or telling staff what to do or asking staff to go do this for me. We're not allowed to do that.
Correct. Vice Mayor Bradford, just so you're aware, I am having a meeting on Monday morning with Senator Marco Rubio's chief of staff, so we can do a full forensic audit in this city and an operational audit. Because, hold on. Vice Mayor, just because, Vice Mayor Bradford, because of the constant comments of that there's somebody interfering, you're right. A higher government does have to step in, And this is, when Monday comes, it's not something that I'm going to force. I obviously have to talk to my team because we are a team, and so we can move it forward. Unfortunately, I don't think our state government right now is going to do anything because I have asked about the possibility of, to what you're talking about, that's called an operational audit, and from this dais, I've asked probably 7 or 8 times our former now interim city manager for an operational audit, and he said yes several times, and it never got done. So we'll talk about it more on Monday. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Message today. Well, yeah, I actually left a message today up at the state as well, because according to everything, we need to apply, get with the Florida Division of Elections, and it's actually the governor's office who handles all this. So we actually need to reach out to the Secretary of the state. But this needs to be done because there's a lot of fingers pointing, and it always goes back to certain individuals, but it really needs to be looked at so we can stop this and get a city manager that difference.
Okay, thank you. Can we please go for a verbal vote?
I would like to make a comment, Mayor.
We're good. Let's do a vote first, and then I promise you we'll get your comment. But we're going to go with a vote first because I know the public has been waiting.
Commissioner Villabassi.
It's cutting off, but yes.
Commissioner Caldwell. Commissioner Jody Lee.
Yes.
Commissioner McCool.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bradford.
Yes.
Mayor Villa.
Yes. So the motion passes 7-0. Glenn is the interim city manager until we talk about on Monday, sir, until we talk about on Monday of getting a permanent.
Can I?
Could we go ahead, Maritza, you had a comment to make before we adjourn the meeting?
Glenn wants to talk.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. So yes, I agree with what your comment as well as the Vice Mayor's comment. Please let's get this investigation going on because like it was mentioned, there's too many fingers being pointed at this in different directions, and there's a lot of faults here on both sides. So let's please not just blame the city manager. He did the best he could, as much as he could, and as much as he was allowed to do. So I am for this investigation by the government, and this way we can start fresh, and all these problems can be resolved one way or another. So yes, I approve with your suggestion, Mayor, as well as the Vice Mayor's suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.
Here's the thing that they don't understand. You can't vet anybody today. You can't vet anybody. Mayor, we have to address this. We have to address this.